found in the past. In fact, the journey that I'm talking about can be explained in this letter U. I don't know whether you're able to see this. This letter, yes, you have A, point A there. Then I'm moving. Actually, I'm explaining how I moved to point B.
Yeah.
So let's just assume now that A means professor of academics. Now, professor of academics, in the driving seat for this downward spiral is the devil or Satan. Satan is the driver of your life.
Driving you to the lowest point.
Yes, the lowest point is now professor of beer. B stands for beer. And there you are now describing where you are depressed, you are feeling useless, you are feeling like you just die. And you say, let me take as much alcohol as possible to die. You have lost hope. And you are even raising your hand to support. But no, some people, because of that reason, are not seeing it. You are crying for help, but they are not seeing it. They are even condemning it. But you are a disgrace.
You felt at that point, you feel that people are not understanding.
Yeah, in fact, I remember even when we had family issues, even hated women. To be wife meant that is increased forever. Negative attitude. But then at this point,
The one is increased
everyone is increased forever. But you know, when you are like in rehab, what works on your mind? The same WIFE now means welfare improves, whatever. So I was at this point rock bottom. But fortunately, I joined Kabarak University in 2006. Kabarak is a Christian university which is founded on education in biblical perspectives. Then I started the journey of sobriety.
You started scaling your drinking, or?
No, I was not drinking. Just rejoicing that God, you are wonderful. About 5 years, up to 2011. Then I went to some function and tasted alcohol.
Oh, you stayed without drinking alcohol for 5 years?
For 5 years in Kabarak University, teacher club. Then I went to a function, and that function had all kinds of drinks. There was a corner for hard stuff. Ukasema whiskey hapana.
Lakini wewe ulikuwa umeenda mpaka whiskey.
Beyond whiskey. Beyond whiskey. You know, whiskey is found in reputable places like bars, but Mama Pima will not be found in a bar. Yes, you'll be found in some valley somewhere. We are doing even many jobs. She would even send you kimbio, lete mimi kibiriti. Mama Pima nakutuma kuleta kibiriti.
Muti ya masters.
Hakuna masters. I'm telling you, addiction is a combined habit. It cuts everything along the way. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't bother about whether you are gender is irrespective. It doesn't matter whether you are male or female, Kale or Luya, tall or short, black or brown, learned or unlearned. Those degrees don't matter.
They don't really. So you move. You're in a party.
Yes, I was in the party, and then they say, I used had the drinks apart. And I saw the place for soft drinks. I should have gone there, but something told me up got wine. And then there was a voice like, wine is good for the stomach. Yeah, it also assists in digestion. You need it, and then you're saying, you can even go mathematical. Whiskey plus soda divided by 2 equals wine. So I tasted the wine with the soda. And then, the first sip was funny, but I was feeling nostalgic. It's like memories are made of this.
And it is striking something in your mind.
Yes, the rewires are connecting.
You are relapsing without you knowing.
Without you knowing. Alafu, the second time I went for wine, I didn't ask for soda.
This other time you were mixing wine with soda?
Yes. When I went the next time, there were several things that were running in my mind concurrent. One of them is, I was even quoting the Bible. The Bible says, choose to be hot or cold. Don't be lukewarm. Choose whiskey or this. Don't be lukewarm. And then I also remembered that if you mix water with milk, you'll be spoiling them. So I said, wine, mix it, choose to be hot. So I said, give me this wine. And then
As plain as it is.
As plain as it is. That was a blunder because it caused a lot of hope. I was back here, back on the downward spiral again.
Take us through that struggle that you went through when you relapsed.
When Kabarak,
Yeah.
one, I was not interdicted. Because if I was interdicted, I would be on half salary. I was not sacked. Because if I was sacked, I would have got someone dismissed. I was told, keep off. I was declared persona non grata.
But still receiving the salary.
No, I said I was not interdicted because
But you are not.
interdiction would have meant half salary. I was not sacked because I didn't get the letter of summary dismissal. I was told keep off. But I was on zero salary.
Where did you go at that point? Where did you go now? You're told don't step in Kabara.
I went to my house because I was building my house. I had started building my house in that area. A big house, stone house. So back there, I started selling household items to sustain my drinking. Malango, a door of 10,000 I would sell at 1,000.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Who is living with you in that house at that point?
God.
You are alone with God.
God.
Because at the back there you are separated with your wife, so you are alone.
Yes. Eventually, I sold my bed.
You started with what?
There was this false belief that because I'm rarely visited, let me start with the bedrooms farthest from mine. And of course, there will be that justification that even if someone breaks into that bedroom, they'll steal the beds and so on. So why don't I remove them, so that in case they break into the bedroom, they'll find nothing to steal. So after exhausting those, they move to the next bedroom. Then eventually, it's yours.
So you started with the other bedroom.
Yeah, and of course, because I had been listening to these negative voices that I'm useless. In fact, in that village of Ukirke, I was the village roundabout. You know, village roundabout. Village roundabout means that at 6 o'clock or earlier, I've already gone to Mama, taken my changa. And by the way, changa is the only commodity in the entire world that makes you cry as you enjoy. As tears roll down, you're saying, ongeza nyingine kabla hujaongeza maji. You know, and that is how captivating or enslaving it is. Get it? So I would be there by 8 o'clock, I'm dead drunk. 8
there,
in the morning.
now, where you are in that.
Yes, I would be sleeping for barabara. You know, motorcyclists are passing around. You see alive. But the villagers saying, Professor Nalala, jua itamamusha.
Wanasema Professor
Nalala, jua itamamusha. So I became the village roundabout here in another one. And people would say this is useless. He's not even a lecturer, he's just masquerading.
Or people reach out.
Of course, you become a villain in the village. You are the reference point for all bad things about how not to succeed. You are a testimony of how not to succeed.
Why go to school?
Yeah, and waste. The parents should have just spent this money on better things. And somehow you start listening to their story as a belief. I don't know what this term is called. Sociologists argue that it's like sociologists, yes. That if somebody is kidnapped, initially they feel very bad. They've been kidnapped by Al-Shabaab, you feel very bad. But after some time, you start listening to Al-Shabaab, the reasons what made them
Be the way they are.
You become a very big advocate of Al-Shabaab. Similarly, you listen to these voices and they get ingrained in you. And somehow you start telling yourself, these guys are right. You get to a point where you're telling in the mirror, you are a very useless person. Bogus, useless.
You are telling yourself that?
Yes. Because I thought now they were right. Because if I was useful, why was I disposing of household?
You have disposed of.
And in fact, that informed my decision to sell the bed. Because I said, useless people are supposed to be dead. So why am I sleeping 3 feet above the ground? Useless people should be 6 feet below the soil. So I removed. I went to ground zero.
Sold the beddings.
Not the beddings, the bed. The bed, not beddings. I sold the bed. I was sleeping on a mattress. Fortunately, and this is a very interesting talk. It's good to invest in human beings. It's good to invest social capital, invest in people.
Yeah.
That kind of investment. After investing in God, invest in human beings. You'll never do it. Colleagues at Kabbalah would contribute money on a monthly basis. Lihanda is one of us, one of the best lecturers that we have in this university. And he is in anguish. So they would contribute on a monthly basis and do shopping and bring home. But because I was a slave, they would come and they tell them, you have seen me, so what are you doing here? Just go back to the university. But as soon as they left, I would put geisha soap here, I put ungangano hapa. I'm a slave.
You go to...
At one point, there's even somebody who bought me slippers. Kwa barabara. Because I got to a point where I would lose a shoe in the mud, usiku. And I look for it. I can't find. I talk a lot of English saying this stupid shoe. You can stay. Even take the other one and throw there. You can stay with your brother. You know you are a slave. So I realized, and I was telling myself, hata kuna haja kutembea na viatu. Why? Just walk barefoot. I got to a point I said, hata kuna haja ya kuoga because even if I come in the evening, I'll be dirty. And as an economist, why waste soap? But then I would console myself. The house is mine. Even the stage is mine. Hata uchafu ni yangu. And the nyumba ni yangu. I'm not told you to come to my house. You can stay in your house. Your own house, not come to my house. So, it plays, drugs, alcohol, they impair the brain. Any drug. It impairs the brain, judgment is thrown through the window. And there are many examples I can give you, many. Why would a drunkard be knocked by a vehicle? Because of underestimating or overestimating distance. You would see people crossing because the vehicle is a kilometer away and he thinks they are stupid. What's wrong with these fellows? So it remained there. Watch our jingo wapite. But this impairment. Have you ever seen a drunkard jumping over a trench? A trench that is 1 foot wide. He would jump like he's jumping
at 10 feet.
At 10 feet something. See, estimation of distance and spaces is not there. You can think you go to a changa place and you see this is a mama, she's 70 years old. You even greet her, she's wrinkled. But after a glass full of changa, from where you're sitting, you see she's 50 years. What has happened? Another glass full, she's 30. Kiongeza sigara moja, she's 26. What is happening? You have not moved. But her age is reducing. How do you explain that? Mpaka unafika pale unasema this is musupu. Unatembea naye staggering with her. Utampeleka pate kitambulisho. People wondering what is happening with this guy. How do you explain that? Impairment. Impairment of judgment, impairment of priorities, impairment of everything. Because I was there. Because how do you explain this contradiction that you are very generous in the bar, but very mean in the house? Yeah. How do you explain that? You are more captured. There are more praise singers out there than here. So I was in that state, and eventually my friends decided, this friend of ours, we have to organize to take him to a rehab.
By force?
Not by force. Not by force. I'd go to a point, everybody has a turning point. Even Saul had a turning point on his way to persecute the Christians. He was struck by lightning and he had a voice.
What was the experience?
My turning point was when I drank changa and walked for 20 kilometers looking for my house. which was 5 minutes walk from where I was. And I found myself past Salga on the Nakuru Ngata Bridge, Ngata Gate, Sobea, Salga Road towards Sachangwan. 4 a.m. At one point, I strayed into some house, and I'm telling
20 kilometers.
Yes, I strayed into some compound. They even thought I'm mwizi wa ng'ombe. But this gentleman he came out with bow and arrows. He wanted to shoot me, and the wife stood between me and him. So nimepotea. This man looks innocent. Don't shoot an innocent person. So because of male ego, he said, I'm giving 1 minute to disappear from my eyes. So God gave me
you are come from drinking.
Yes, but I'm saying niko kwa busy highway. I'm even wondering where I am, but then I saw some light somewhere. So I moved towards the light to ask, hapa ni wapi? Please, I'm from Ogilgii. Can you please help me to get home? I'm tired. I had walked for over 15 kilometers.
That was a different side. There was this 20 kilometers.
No, it was just part of it. Before I found myself in Salga, yes. I had strayed to some homestead where I saw light. And this fellow thought I'm a thief. So he gave me one minute to disappear from his eyes. And I remember running even through barbed wire, which cut my back, and there was blood. Of course, I was running and I'd been drinking chana. And the t-shirt was blood soaked. By the time I found myself in Salga past 4 a.m., this gentleman told me, this Salga umetoka wapi? Told him, Ngata Gate, Ogilgii. So I just sat there up to 6 in the morning with the watchman and the security person at the veranda there. So I walked back. That was my turning point, because I asked myself, there are some people who are knocked during the day. They have never tasted alcohol. They have just taken murusik, and they are knocked by a vehicle. And God meant He had a reason for sparing me to walk on a busy highway that has buses and lorries and all kinds of vehicles, and at night you have all kinds of animals. So it dawned on me that God has a purpose in saving me, and that was my turning point. So that by the time my colleagues were proposed that I should be assisted by being taken to rehab, I willingly agreed.
They came visiting you and told you?
No, they made the decision quietly at the university. Dr. Mbati, who is the chaplain of the high school, Dr. Stella Muhanji, she's now at Nanyuki University. Not Nanyuki, sorry, Laikipia University. Professor Uka, Dr. Odwoch, I know them often, Ayeye, and many others supported me. Lecturers from the university supported me, and I accepted to go to rehab. So a date was set, 12th of February, and I told myself, no, before they arrive at 9 o'clock in the morning that Sunday, let me go and bid farewell to alcohol. So I would go to Shenga Place, Jaza.
Wacha niseme kwa heri.
Umenitesa sana. You have cost me reputation. Integrity has gone down the drain. Bye-bye. Geza. Like that. Because I needed to arrive at 9, so I went to the Shenga Place at 5. So by the time they arrived at 9, I was in cloud 15. Or if there's a cloud like that. So the journey started from, I had not bathed for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Na ile matope yote?
Yes. Nyumba yangu, so what is the issue?
The stench is mine.
It's mine. You know, there's that thought. Yangu. You know, it's like you go to a band, somebody anakudharau, unamwambia hata wewe unakunywa whisky na mimi nakunywa hii ingine ya sijui cheap chrome. Tukilewa will just be the same. Unajipa moyo. So for me, I actually bid farewell. Yes, you rationalize. I bid farewell to alcohol and its cousins, first cousins or last cousins, on 12th of February. Because I went to the Changa Place at 5 in the morning. So by 9 I was okay. So I was brought to Eldoret, And it's interesting, you invited me to Gambia. It's Eldoret that is, God worked on me. So I was taken to rehab in Eldoret on 12th of February 2012, Harvard Recovery Center. And that my journey in recovery started. So from this diagram,
You're now at the rehab.
yes, now you know point A we are saying professor of academics. But Satan or the devil is in the driving
The
seat.
driver.
Now I'm at rock bottom where I'm professor of beer. Now eventually I'm at the rehab by my own choice and volition. I was not coerced.
It's
I was not
amazing.
forced. I realized that God had a purpose in my life, and therefore it became easier. So in the rehab, now you notice that from point B to point C, God is in the driving seat. I don't know if you're able to see this, but God is in the driving seat, and you see, moving from academics to beer, rock bottom, is faster because when you're going downhill,
You go
the
fast.
devil is taking you are losing a lot of things. Respect, integrity, money, spirituality, and social life is also disintegrating quickly. But now on this uphill journey, God is in charge. God, drivers have changed in the rehab. The devil has handed me over to God. So God is
But
in the
not willingly.
of
The
course,
devil cannot hand
not
over you.
willingly, not willingly, not willingly. So God is taking me to point C, where I'm now professor of Christ.
You profess in Christ.
Yes, and to me, God means the gracious, omnipresent driver. The gracious, omnipresent one, because His grace is more than sufficient. I'm not been sober all these years because of academics, not because of money, not because of reputation, but it's the grace of God. And omnipresent means that He is everywhere, and that driver, when He's in the driving seat, nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
There are so many Bible scripture verses that give us hope that I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. He is my shepherd. Psalms 23. Yes, He who dwells in me is mightier than all the forces that are combined against me. So in the rehab, of course, it was difficult. Difficult. When you're moving from total drunkenness to total sobriety. And it's not something that just like going downhill is a process, then the recovery is also a process. It's not an event, because an event is like you switch on lights and switch off. But this is a process that you are living one day at a time. And for me, the 3 months initially were very difficult because of the withdrawal symptoms. I even met my students there. I was going to the dormitory for the first time in 30 years. Double decker. Sometimes you wake up and you hit the bed up and you wonder what is you have concussions. What happened? Oh, rehab. And of course, in the rehab, I told myself one thing from the very beginning, that all my titles, all my degrees, I leave them at the gate. I'm going to exercise humility in the knowledge that if you humble yourself, God will exalt you.
You stay for how long in the rehab?
90 days.
For 90 days.
90 days.
You come out.
From 12th of February, I graduated on 5th of May. And in my graduation, it was wonderful. And of course, Kabarak had been following my progress. And
silently.
Yes, I want to thank God and praise Him, because immediately I graduated on 5th of May. Within 48 hours, I was back reinstated in Kabarak. I graduated on 5th on a Saturday. On Monday 7th, I got a letter from Kabarak reinstating me, on condition that I lose whatever I would have earned for the 1 year that I was on zero salary. But I told myself, money has never made me happy. But in the rehab, I got hope. And the hope that I got in the rehab is bigger than the 1 million I would have earned in 1 year.
Yeah.
So I said, that's okay, I signed, and I started the journey. So God has been there for me, and I'm still praising Him, living one day at a time.
What do you do in the university now?
In fact, before we go there, I'm even a board member of the Harvard Recovery Center. I'm a board member of the rehab.
Wow.
I attend every graduation whenever time allows. I do fundraising. So in the university, I went there and as an agent of change, because those who used to see me going downhill are now able to see the transformation.
Even the neighbors.
Even the neighbors who used to despise me. In fact, in 2013, I got a car. I went up to Mombasa and picked a car from the showroom. Okay, for 1 year I never drove it. It was just parked out there. And the neighbors, of course, I was also in a state of denial that ni mimi kweli. Neighbors would stare through the fence. But it was mine. So for 8 years I had that car, and in 2021 I asked God to give me a better car. Niambia Mungu nimekuwa naingia kwa gari, so God opened the floodgates to get a car ya kupanda. So God opened avenues, and I imported my second car from Japan. So in the university I teach economics, which I've been teaching. This is my 19th year, and for the last 12 years I've been teaching economics. I'm also a member of the University Correctional Committee, where students appear, students with issues, and of course my experience comes in handy, because some of the members have never tested alcohol, they have never seen banging a kaji, and ask for my expert opinion as to what should we do about the student, and I give my advice opinion. We support them in whatever way we can, guided by the university policy. I'm a happy member of that community, and I believe that even some of the testimonies I've given on Hope TV, CAS TV, Baraton University TV are going a long way towards giving hope to people. Giving hope to people. Let us remember that there is no testimony without a test. And oftentimes what keeps us lagging is focusing so much on the past.
Yeah.
You know the televangelist called Joel Austin? He wrote a book titled Become a Better You. In that book, he says that when you are driving, don't focus so much on the side mirrors, because if you do that, you'll collide with an oncoming vehicle. And instead of focusing on the side mirror, focus on the windscreen. And then he asked this question: why is the windscreen bigger than the side mirror? Then he also answers immediately. He says the windscreen is bigger than the side mirror because where you're going is bigger, is better, is brighter than where you have come from. So I want just to encourage whoever is watching that there is absolutely nothing you can do about your past. Whether your parents separated, whether you are traumatized for one reason or the other, whether you were in depression. But remember, there's everything you can do about your future. It's not your family. I encourage people this way, that the tomato ripens from inside and spreads out. It is you who will make the change. Just the same way that you started the first cigarette, it is you who will stop. But on your own, especially if you're addicted, you will not be able to, because you're a slave. So it is only God who can enable you. On your own, you'll not. You're in denial. You are living a false dream. It's illusory. It's illusory. You cannot make it on your own, because addiction is a disease, and society is judgmental, busy pointing. But for me, I thank God, because the more I testify about the many things that God has done for me, the many things that God has replaced that were eaten by locusts, because He reminds us in Psalms 23 verse 5 that I shall fill your cup until it overflows. You can't fill a cup that is full. You fill a cup that is empty. So God will fill up to here until it overflows. Whatever was lost, God will more than compensate and give you more.
Wow.
God He will rejuvenate us. God will make us happy. I'm happy that I got not only a wife, but a friend.
You already got a second. I don't know whether to call a second, because now you separated and
Yeah, that one collapsed. Yeah, so I'm not counting numbers. I'm counting the friendship and counting my blessings one day at a time, and saying that I thank God, because He worked on my mind. He worked on my attitude, moving me from, you see, let me give you an example. Women fear caterpillars. Almost 100% of women fear caterpillars. But if you tell them you are as beautiful as a butterfly, they feel very happy. But where does this butterfly come from?
From a caterpillar.
Yes, and that's what God does. That even if you are a social caterpillar, He will metamorphosize you into a butterfly. Yeah, so let us remember this, that God allows certain situations to pass through us. And it's my prayer that with a positive attitude, we will not call them problems, but we look at them as challenges. And it's never too late to do what you would have done earlier, because God's timing is the best. You know, I have 1 month to retire. And I've been a student in university in Dar es Salaam since 2017.
A student?
Yeah. At 65 years of age, I'm going to graduate again in December. Somebody somewhere is 17 years old. Na amechoka. You see,
Wanasema masomo siku hizi haileti pesa.
But does pesa bring happiness? My prayer is that you pray to God to give you a sense of contentedness. Yeah. So that even if you have 1 million, you are contented. If you have 10 bob, you are contented. Yeah. And you thank God because His grace is more than sufficient. Indeed. There are so many millionaires who are being fed through tubes. There are so many people who are billionaires, but there is paralysis. Yeah. So we are praying that God will not only give us peace, but He'll create friendship in families. That even if you are married, there are many people who have never taken alcohol, but they are always addicted to squabbling. Even in churches, we have addicts there. There are some people who are addicted to just snoring when they start preaching. Well, when it's praise and worship, everybody's dancing, but when it starts to
they
preaching,
go into snoring.
Yeah, because the devil doesn't want them to listen to the word.
Yeah. And I think, Prof, your story becomes a point of reference and a point of encouraging someone. And even as we come to the end, if you have one more thing, encouraging a young person maybe who is almost losing hope, maybe you are encouraging a family, maybe you are encouraging that person who was a loved one who's drinking, who's into addiction. Looking at that camera, you can say your last.
You know, just before daybreak, it is darkest time, and want to give hope, to encourage somebody somewhere. Even if you have broken relationship, sometimes separation is necessary for promotion. There must be a reason why certain things are happening. But let us learn to pray to God to give us answers. All these things are predetermined. Because one thing I know for sure, if you are aligned with God, He will line up for you people who will help you achieve your destiny that has been already programmed by God. Those are called destiny helpers. So you cannot deviate from God. The moment you deviate from God, then there are a lot of things that are happening. And of course, in the current generation, where the young people are in a hurry, they're in a hurry to become billionaires, they're in a hurry to become whatever, then it becomes difficult for them. When the rubber meets the road, then they find that they are torn between two worlds. Patience, space, one day at a time. You have those small building blocks that would make you to be what God has already prepared you for. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prof. I didn't imagine that it will be an interesting conversation that we've had, and I am very sure a viewer who is watching, you've been taking notes, you have noted points of improvement, and the fact that we are amplifying hope at any given time, that even if someone is the way they are addicted in one thing or the other, people are, as Prof has said, that people are addicted in even things that are not seen in the public.
And everybody's unique in their own way.
Yeah.
Even if you are conjoined at the waist or the Siamese twins, you are unique because your fingerprints will never be the same.
Sure.
Let's not try to be what somebody else is because you, Mr. Bitok, God has programmed you to be somebody else. Lihanda has been programmed as well. Make the optimal use of your uniqueness as a person.
Yeah.
Nobody is useless.
No one.
Even that dumping site, that where you dump garbage,
Yeah.
that's where you get the best organic manure. Nobody's useless.
And so therefore,
Let us ask God to help us
yeah.
make optimal use of our uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Even like this the part of the body, which organ is useless? Even that village madman has a role to play in that village. Yes. Because the moment he goes, you realize there's a gap somewhere.
Sure.
You see these fingers? They're different. Yes? See, but they coordinate, they can be able to hold this glass. But the interesting thing is that when you bend these fingers, you see they are now equal. God is an equalizer, despite our diversity.
Our
yes,
diversities.
yes.
And so it is. I think as we come to the end of our show today, one thing that Prof is emphasizing, and continually we are saying that be hopeful, stay hopeful, pray for that person that you feel that they need help. Because until that point when they feel helpless themselves, you can never force anyone to go to rehab. It is, and never judge.
But the moment you point a finger at somebody,
yeah,
how many fingers are pointing at you?
that is true.
We are all sinners.
Indeed. And therefore, just keep on moving, keep hope, share the hope. And even as you keep on watching this episode, please share with your friends, tell your friends, and share the joy to everyone. Until next time, guys, see you. God bless you.